Hello, welcome Allie to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's dive right in. Waste no time. Please introduce yourself to everyone that is listening and what it is that you do.
Well, my name is Lindstrom, and I am a mom boss breakthrough coach, which means that I help mompreneurs build successful businesses without sacrificing their health, happiness, and harmony with their family. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years, and I'm just really, really passionate about helping women win and find peace in having both a family and a fantastic business.
Heck yeah, as my dad would call it, it's not work-life balance, it's life-work balance. We are not
Yeah.
made to work, or we don't live to work, we work to live. So I really love this, and I feel like we're gonna have a really good conversation about it today. But tell us a little bit more about you and your entrepreneurial journey, because you started out one place and you've kind of ended up in a completely different place, which obviously is just speaking so much true to who you are and what you offer. So I'd love for you to kind of just take us on that entrepreneurial journey.
Oh, for sure. I'll try to do it in as small of a nutshell as I can because like I said, I've been doing this for 17 years.
Yes.
And when I got started, it was so funny. I always thought the last thing I'd ever want to do is business because I have more of a heart to serve. I didn't understand that those two things together are really powerful.
Yes.
And and I was in social work, but when my twins, my oldest children were two, I couldn't stand anymore to be helping. I loved helping people, but I was actually, the bottom line was I was paying $300. I was making $300 a year after I paid for daycare for me to go and work and teach other people
Mm,
how to raise their children. And I was missing
mm.
my kids, like so many moms. And so I decided to stay home with them. And I was actually working on my master's of social work at the time. And I
Oh my
didn't end
gosh.
up continuing in social work because I was invited to a home party in the direct sales business. And it was really, really fun. And I thought, oh my goodness, like this going here taught me how to make really quick meals and everything was super delicious. And I'm not a great cook, but what
Yeah.
a fun thing for me to do on the side to keep making income and kind of have something that felt like mine. And
Yeah.
so I dove into that business, and I shouldn't even say that I dove. I kind of tinkered around into it. And then
Yeah.
they had an event that was in a beautiful place in Florida. And so I went to that and I saw these women up on stage, and I am an Enneagram 3. I'm very recognition driven. And I saw the women up on stage and I thought, there is no reason that I can't be up on that stage. And so I plugged myself into the systems and the strategies. And I will always say direct sales network marketing, that is the gateway to entrepreneurship, because if you follow the systems and just trust
Mm,
what your leaders tell you, if you have good leadership
mhm.
and a good model, you're going to succeed. And so I loved that business. I rose to the top in leadership in that business. They were very culture rich. However, I wasn't
Yeah.
well, I was on top, I was not making that much money, which didn't matter to me really. We were fine, but I wasn't able to help other women leave a corporate job if they were a breadwinner or really dependent on that income that wanted my lifestyle. I couldn't help them to leave and
Mm,
do that. They would have to be partying like every night. And that's not what you want either as a mom.
right.
So my lifestyle happened to change and I went on a big health journey. And at that point, I was introduced to a network marketing company within the health and wellness field. It was a perfect fit. And so then I transitioned to network marketing, and it was very fun. It aligned with me and it was very lucrative.
Mm,
So that was actually where everything came together, and I really could help families change their financial blueprint. And it
yeah.
was amazing. But here's what I found at the end of all of these years.
Yes.
You can give people systems and strategies, right?
Yeah.
And yes, if
Yeah.
you follow them, but if you have these limiting beliefs, and we all have things running in our subconscious, right? And if we're not aware of them, even the best systems and strategies won't work. And my favorite part about leadership, and I ended up spending so much time doing this, was coaching women around their mindset. And I got
Yes.
a certification in energy leadership coaching, and that, oh my gosh, that changed my life. And I love coaching women to become aware of their own energy leadership so that they can open their eyes to all these other opportunities that are around us all of the time.
Yes. Okay. I am so ready to dive into energy leadership, what it is, how it can impact your business, no matter what field you're in. This is clearly not just for those that are in direct sales or network marketing companies. It's for every single woman that wants to step into that place of leadership. So tell everybody, especially me, I'm so dying to know what this means because it just sounds so, I don't know, there's a like an energy around it, as cliche as
Like,
that sounds.
I have like my hair standing up right now. I get
Yes.
so excited about
Oh, I
it.
love it. That's how you know that you're like speaking in your truth, which I so love. So tell us everything about what the heck energy leadership is, and we'll
Okay.
go from there.
Okay. So first of all, energy leadership is not just for leaders.
Okay.
Okay. We are all leaders. And that's a hard thing, a concept for us to think of. I mean, when I say it, you're going to be like, oh, totally. Every single one of us are leading and all the time because our energy
Mm,
is constantly affecting everything within our circle. Okay.
mm,
Our energy is either attracting, neutralizing, or repelling everything around us. People, opportunities, things that is leading. Any type of influence is leading. So we are all leading it at all times, but we
mm,
don't know how unless we have that self-awareness, right?
mhm,
Secondary thing, energy is a huge buzzword, especially right now in the personal growth industry. And a lot of
mm,
people use it in different ways. I'm going to use it in energy leadership as a very scientific fact. Every molecule, everything, our thoughts, our cells, our emotions, our energy. This is science. There's plenty of studies done on this that will tell you that everything is energy. And so when you become aware of the levels at which your energy is resonating, you can really unlock some magical things that bring so much ease and attraction into your life, where
mm.
we unconsciously choose so much stress for ourselves trying to control or overcome things within our ego. Okay. So
Love that.
yeah, thank you. I'm so excited.
Yes, I
So
love that. I mean, I know that people listening cannot see I mean, hopefully you can feel her energy though, because I definitely can. Obviously, I can see her beautiful face as I'm talking to her. But if you're listening, I mean, you can obviously hear the smile on your face right now talking about this. And that's just how you know you're so passionate and so committed to the work that you're doing, because obviously you're making such an impact. So I love it. You just keep
yeah.
on doing what you're doing.
Okay. So at any time, we are resonating at one of 7 possible levels of energy. And we fluctuate throughout all of those energies at different times of day, just depending on what's influencing us and what's going on in our lives, right? So if we're in a stressful situation, we're probably resonating at a lower level of energy. And if we're in a really great day, things are going well, and if we are conscious and we're able to make conscious shifts in our thinking, then
Mm.
we're probably resonating at a higher level of energy. At the lower levels of energy, those things drain us. We've experienced fatigue, avoidance, apathy, and it repels what we're trying to do. It makes it harder for us to be successful. At a higher level of energy, we're expansive. Okay. So we
Mhm.
attract opportunities, we attract people, we fire people up around us. So if we're working within teams, it's easy to energize other people and get them really engaged in whatever the goal is.
Oh, I love that. Okay, okay. So the minute I think of like high energy, I'm almost thinking like, okay, if I want to so here's the question for that. Do we
Okay.
want to be at that high energy all the time? Is it normal? Is it healthy to fluctuate? Do we want to stay up here, or do we want to stay like loosey goosey flowing through?
Oh, I love this question. Thank you for asking this. Okay. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am really verbal about toxic positivity. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
This idea that we need to be that low levels of energy are bad and high levels of energy are good, right?
Okay.
There is no good or bad. These are all
Okay.
human experiences.
Okay.
And it is very normal. We would not be humans, and it's not possible for us to always be high. It's just
Mm,
no. Here's the thing. We can also consciously choose a low level of energy and still have it be really beneficial to us. The difference is we consciously chose it. Whereas if we
mm,
remain in a low level of energy unconsciously, so the lowest level of energy is called victim energy. And the name of it I don't really love, but when we say victim, we mean we are at the control. We don't have any control. We're at the control of all of our influencers, right? And
okay.
so a lot of times people just say, I can't, they feel hopeless, they feel helpless, they
Mm,
avoid, right? So this low. So if you're here in that low level of energy for a long period of time, unconsciously, you're likely to be in this shame cycle, and you're not
Mm,
going to ever really take action
okay.
because you don't see why you're there, and you're always looking for outward reasons to motivate you, but you don't
Yeah.
find any because you think everything is set up against you.
Yeah.
That's subconscious when you're there. So it's very draining. At the same time, we can choose to take a day off,
Mm,
binge some Netflix because we need a break, because we
yeah.
recognize within ourselves that we've been going really, really, really hard, and all that's amazing, but we also have to rest. And so we can consciously choose to cut off all of these things and just be.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
totally.
that's a completely different feeling
Yeah.
than
So
the
like
unconscious.
walk me through your a typical day in Allie's world and making those kind of conscious decisions of your
Mm.
energy level. Like walk us through your day, a day in the life of Allie.
Well, that is funny because a day in my life ideally and a day in my life recently is not the
Okay.
same.
A
But
little
I
bit
think,
different.
yeah, I think that's really normal,
Okay.
especially for moms.
Mm,
And just really life, because if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably running your home and your business at the same time, and running a home and having a family means there's a
sure.
lot of unexpected things that come up, and a lot of people that need you that you are going to prioritize over your business. And that's okay. I
Mm,
want to say
okay.
that that is
Yeah.
okay. I think a big reason we find ourselves unconsciously down where we're judging ourselves is we think that we have to be all the things and everything has to be ideal. And that's not really not everything is going to be ideal at all. The way you
Mm,
picture it, the way you
right.
picture it, right?
A
So
thousand
having
percent.
that grace. Yeah. So anyway, ideal for me is getting up and, just, I like a really slow morning. So having my coffee, doing some reading, doing some journaling, meditating, those would be my things. I try not to get on a call or engage in
Mhm.
my messages until 11 a.m. is what I'd like my standard to be. I feel
Yeah.
like it's not that recently. And so
Mm,
I'm not feeling as, no, I find myself in periods of stress, but the
okay.
difference is now, because of what I've learned about energy leadership and how I know it, I notice it more quickly and I don't stay there. So for instance, yesterday in the middle of the day, I'm like, I need to move this energy out of my body.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a walk. I'm
Okay.
going to listen to a podcast that I really like. And then I'm going to get back and I'm going to have all this creativity again, and it's going to feel really good. And so just being able to recognize and make the conscious choices so you can shift.
Yeah, and having that self-awareness, I think, is a really powerful thing with a lot of cognitive behavioral issues
Mhm.
that we have in our society, and
Yeah.
myself included. I mean, there's things that I know are the result of past issues that are kind of like a triggering moment.
Mhm.
But having that self-awareness, like, I know exactly where this is coming from. I know what I need
Mhm.
to do to like shift. And that's I feel like that's something that I've always semi innately had, but I've really honed in on it as an adult. And I
Mhm.
don't know if that's something that you just get from experiences or it's just kind of having, I think they call it the mind's eye in a sense. Like
Yes.
I'm being self aware. I see what's going on. Like these minds are not mine, these are intrusive or
Mhm.
um, I, I see what's going on. I need to shift. I need to change my location. I need to change what I'm looking at. Like you just said, I need to go on a walk. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to change my almost like your physical situation of being in your house to
Yes.
going outside to
Yes.
also feeding your mind with a podcast that you really love. So
Yes.
changing the situation is also then having control over your energy levels. I love that.
Yes.
I think that's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It's definitely wisdom, and with that wisdom, intuition. And we all
Mm,
have it, but
hmm
it only strengthens when we continue to listen and listen and
mm,
listen and just really dig deep. And I think the biggest block to doing that is just choosing to stay in that unconscious. I think it's really hard for a lot of people because of in general, most people are functioning in society at the second level of energy, okay, which is
mm,
one of control and
hmm
stress, kind of
hmm
toxic competition
Yeah.
this trust, looking out for themselves. Okay. You can
Yeah.
see that. Look at what's happening in the world right now. And
Totally.
so subconsciously, that's how most people, and so because we're there and we're in such this protection mode for ourselves, like our ego is protecting us from so much perceived pain, that to
Mm-hmm.
take a look inner, to go really deep within is really scary because we're already in this judgment mode. So we're like, if I do that, what if I find that there's something wrong with me? But that's not what
Mm-hmm.
happens at all. When you allow
Yeah.
yourself to do that, it's this beautiful thing where you can step back and look at what's happening like you're an outside observer of yourself.
Sure.
It's the,
Absolutely. It's the
it's the
craziest thing.
coolest thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it feels almost like an out of body experience a little bit.
Mhm.
It's so funny. As you're speaking, I'm thinking of like I used to do this when I was a little girl, and I unfortunately a lot of times during school and even as an adult was bullied a lot by just really awful mean girls. And I just remember kind of going kind of a little bit inward, but it was almost outward in a sense that I detached myself from my physical, not my physical body,
Mhm.
but my spirit almost was comforting myself in the sense it's going to be fine. You're okay.
Oh,
This
that's
is going
so
to pass.
beautiful.
Do you know what I mean? It was almost like
Yeah.
a my because our we do have that separation between our physical bodies and our spirits, right?
Yes.
Like our souls. So it
Yeah.
was almost like a comforting, let me take myself out, right? Like we work as
Yeah.
one, but let me take myself out for a second, just be like, hey Mandy, it's okay, those girls, they're in an ugly space, they don't actually mean what they're
Yes.
saying to you. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like
Oh,
giving yourself a pep talk, but it feels like there's somebody else like there with you. And that, do you know what, does that make
yes.
sense?
It makes perfect sense. That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's almost like having that self-awareness. What's happening to you is, you know, human, right?
Yeah.
It's just people acting in reaction to so many things. So I want to talk too about you specifically talk to mompreneurs that have an entrepreneurial spirit and dream and journey and goals, and you really want to speak to them in the light of this leadership energy, being able
Yeah.
to have the work life or life work balance, as we say, having
Yeah.
that balance but just loving what they do. What are
Mhm.
some of the energy blocks that they come up upon the most, would you say?
Oh, okay. So, you know what? Here's the biggest one. The number one energy block that I find is with women who are entrepreneurs. So most of us who are entrepreneurs, are serving in some way, right? Because
Mm,
our why is so rooted in helping other people. That's really
mhm,
just a big thing, especially with women. A little, somewhat because we're socialized to take care of others, but also
mm,
just genetically, that's part of who we are. So that a lot of entrepreneurs I work with serve in some sort of capacity, and also are, you know, moms. And
yes,
so they're giving, 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 serving all the time.
all
What
the time.
happens, yes, what happens is they give to themselves last and gives to
Mm,
other for first. So, in the energy levels, that's the fourth level of energy. Okay. That's a pretty high level of energy. You can get a lot of success. However, if you combine that with not having boundaries,
mm,
not making space for your self-care,
mhm,
okay, over time and giving and giving, giving, that energy bank gets low, and we
mm,
start dropping down into the first and the second level of energy. So what does that look like? Second level of energy, we're resentful. We don't
mm,
feel appreciated. People are taking up our time. You hear a
mm.
lot of, they made me feel this way. Nobody makes us feel
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Mhm.
Or level one, so, the drain, the lethargy, the apathy, totally burned out.
Yeah.
And so I help a lot of moms to take a look at where are they going to make space for their self-care and scheduling that, and making small promises to themselves and honoring
Mhm.
that and taking ownership of their own happiness, and then having boundaries and learning that saying no actually is a gift to themselves and to others, because
Mm.
then they can continue to show up at their best rather than showing up at some, oh, my friend today used the word fog in fear, obligation, or guilt. We're never at our best when we're in fog. Is that not the best? I love
Oh my
that.
gosh, I've never heard that before. Okay, say it one more time.
Fog, fear, obligation, or guilt.
Okay. I'm in a oh, okay. Now I'm gonna use that word so differently,
I
but with
know.
just such different intention. And then it's just
Yes.
again, it comes back to that self-awareness. And I mean, you were saying too, wisdom of just being knowledgeable too, and going through different experiences. So then that plays into the self-awareness part. But dang, I love that. These are just
I
like the best little golden nuggets you're dropping just all over this chat.
Well, thank you. I'm so super grateful that I talked to my friend this morning and she said it and I'm like, oh, that's good.
Good one. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so what words of advice then would you give to the mompreneur that's listening right now, who has littles, who's getting overwhelmed, who really wants to find success in her business, no matter what that looks like? What would
Mhm.
you be saying to her?
I would say three things. Give yourself lots of grace and space.
Mm,
One of the hardest things that we do to ourselves, especially if we're real big go-getters, is we
mm,
have a picture of how it should be.
mm,
And then when it doesn't match the should be picture,
yeah.
we think we're not cut out for it. It's too hard. We have to wait till later. That's not true. Your journey just might be different than what you pictured, and this meaning that you've assigned, probably from some outward expectation. Draw
Hmm.
within and just keep asking yourself, what feels right? What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Okay. And go with that, because everything is happening divinely as it should.
Mm,
Your journey is not going to look like anybody else's, and it should not.
hmm.
Number two is to work with a coach right away. Don't wait until you have made enough money, whatever that looks like. I'm using air quotes, you can't see me, but made enough money, successful enough, confident enough. All of those reasons are the reasons that you should hire a coach, because
Mm,
they will get you there faster and they're going to help
hmm.
you get out of your own way. Those
Hmm.
limiting beliefs, those unconscious thought patterns and stories and traumas from the past that are the ones running just aren't automatic and we're not aware of. A coach is going to help. A good coach is not just going to be a cheerleader to you. That's why I
Hmm.
use energy leadership coaching, a lot of empowering questions to help get beneath the surface so that we can be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's the thought pattern that keeps coming up here, and heal that. That
Yeah.
is going to help you grow faster, but also in a sense of peace rather
Mm,
than this sense of like desperate, anxious control or
mm,
judgment, which we
yeah.
so often do. And the third one is find a community of other like-minded women who understand what it is to be a mom who wants more,
Mm,
because not everybody gets that. And you need to feel connected to other women like you.
1000%. So good, so good. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure everyone listening is dying to know how they can work with you. Obviously, you're such a radiant energy, and to be able to help people do this. So share all the goods. How can people work with you? How can they connect with you?
Oh, thank you so much. So my website is in construction. So the best way to find me right now is on Instagram. And so that is Ally, ALLY _ Lindstrom, LINDSTROM. So follow me on Instagram, message me if there's any content you'd like to see there. I am all about giving as much value as possible. So follow me there. You can also go there and message me and connect with me. We can schedule a connection call. I offer one-to-one coaching, whether you're looking for 12 weeks of one-to-one coaching. I do 90-minute strategy calls. So we can just map out where you want to go with your business after a call. And then I'll soon be launching again my intentionally empowered mompreneur mentorship group coaching program. So that's a mouthful, but that's where you're going to get the coaching and the strategy together, because I offer one-on-one periods, weekly strategy group coaching, and then you get the community with that. So you're going to get to meet some really incredible moms that are growing just like you.
Ali, so exciting. So many great ways to, first of all, connect with you, but also so many great ways to work with you. So many options. I always love me some options, like, what's the best? So that's so great. I love that you have so many options for people.
Oh
Thank you
gosh.
so much for taking the
Yes.
time. I so
Yes.
appreciate learning from you and hearing about this energy leadership. I think it's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Mandy.